Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salaam alaikum and welcome to Youth and Women Platform with your host, Sister Zeenat. Today we will be discussing a very interesting topic, how to train your kid about essential life things about the life. So in the studio we have a very special guest of honor who is also an educational manager who have a great experience with being a supervisor and vice principal. Assalamu alaikum, sister. How are you?
Salaam alaikum. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. And how is your day going? I'm Zahra Muqaddasizadeh, Educational Manager and Vice Principal in different national and international schools. I am here at your service with life essential skills for the youth and children, how to train them and how to even you work on your self-improvement.
That sounds so interesting, right? Being a
Yes.
youth. So how to train your youth with your essential skills, because youth are so talented.
For
Awesomely
sure.
talented, and they themselves, they don't know the meaning of what talents they have. Even the parents sometimes they don't know. So you're going to be working on that right now.
And also how to discover those talents and
Very
even
nice.
train those essential life skills.
Is that in school that you're going to talk about, or is that in the house?
Both.
Oh wow, let's start.
Both at school and house. Have you ever wondered how independent your child actually is, and also is your child able to look after herself if she's left alone for a while? If she's not able to look after herself when she's left alone, she won't be able to develop those essential life skills. Try to ask these questions from yourself. Is your child equipped with those essential life skills? What life skills are there, and how to train them to your child?
So
That is the question.
Very nice. So basically, what you're saying is that observe your kid when she's independent or he is
Yes.
independent. Like I have kids. I have like one is 5, one is 6. When I leave them by their own, I observe them what they are doing. They are playing with dolls. They're playing the house game. They're becoming teachers because they're kids right now. This is what they are doing. They're
Yes.
imitating us.
For
and
sure.
observe them. And what I observed was like one of my girls is very independent, and my other girl is very dependent on her, or she comes to me. She's very dependent. And this is what I keep thinking, how should I make her independent to make her own decision like my girl
Yes.
number 1 does it? So that is the point I understood
Yeah,
from
and
you.
what are those essential life skills that everyone should be equipped with? The first one is self-defense.
Wow.
That some parts are taught at school and some other parts at home. Like if we might even introduce and make them aware of their private body parts, which should not be shown or even touched by somebody, especially strangers. Try to be positive and interact with people. But there are some questions asked by strangers that shouldn't be answered. Some confidential information about your family, or even some questions that you have to even say no to them. Try to make them aware of these alarms and setting in their minds, because you are not always around to
Protect them.
Yeah, protect
Especially in
them.
the schools, when you see that they have been hit by someone. It's very, very common in kindergarten also. The kindergarten kids, they bully each other, especially the
Yes.
boys, and they are hit. So they get very, they have to learn how to be self-independent. Not that
Yes.
all the time the parents are coming, complaining to the teachers. The teacher has to take care.
Yes.
How do you defend yourself?
For sure.
Okay, answer them back like this if someone is telling you, or someone is just crying. So that's a good point.
And also there are some other factors to be considered, like it prevents sexual abuse even in the society, even from the guys in some family members and among the relatives. Something related to ourselves and to our families. Try to differentiate these all for your children, because safety and security are of utmost importance in today's world and society.
Very nice point. You said the sexual abuse, which is done in the school, it can be by a girl to girl, boy to
Yes.
girl, or boy to boy, or within the house. You have to
Yes.
teach the kids, come and tell me.
For sure.
Because for everything, if the parents is just scolding the kid is not going to come back and tell, I will be scolded. But if you're like a friend to the kid is going to come like, I have been hit over here. The person,
Yes.
maybe the kid doesn't even know that that is a sexual abuse,
Yeah.
That is a very good
And
point.
probably they are shy to express themselves freely.
Yes, there is this. There's so many of these cases. That's very right. I would say, especially even in the schools, whether it's a girl to girl, there's so many dirty talks that happens. Sexual talks.
Yeah.
Even with the little girl, the person maybe I don't know what family the person comes from. We can't be judgmental. If the person is talking like that, go and take the help of the teacher.
Yes.
Or go and take the help of the parent.
Yeah.
We have to tell the kids. We have to talk to the kids.
We have to.
Yeah.
To see what goes on in their minds and
Yeah.
how to solve those problems with our health. And the second factor or essential life skill that everyone should be equipped with is first aid kits and also importance of health. We have to all have first aid kit at our house and then show our children different contents and different stuff or parts of those first aid to relieve their pain and what are they included, how to use them to relieve their pain when they are hurt. Because sometimes we are not around on streets or at school or any other places. And children should know how to look after themselves in these emergency situations.
So basically, keeping a first aid kit in the house, we have to
Yes.
take it out and explain them.
Explain.
One by one, what is this, and what is
How
this.
to use them.
And how to use them, no matter what age. Something happens in emergency, they can use it all by themselves.
Yeah.
Very good point.
And also about importance of health and that it needs our own concern. Try not to buy junk food because they are not
Healthy.
really
Yeah.
beneficial for your health, especially when you are hungry at school. Try to get some other healthy nutritions or even vitamin, eggs, milk. Make them aware of their body needs. And also during doing physical activities and just playing a sport, try to pay attention to your health and body, physically and also mentally beside each other.
So basically, we have to teach our kids, we have to talk to them the whole time,
Yes.
explain them, this is good for your health, this is not good for your health. Even with games, this is good game for you, this is not good game for you.
Yes.
Constantly talk to them. Like some parents have the habit of like just shouting at the kids,
Yeah.
and you have to listen to me, I'm older than you, just say yes and nod your head. It's not going to work out. Honestly speaking, this is like human don't have that nature of being a robot. What's the difference between a robot and a human?
Yeah.
We have to understand that. That's a good point.
And also the third part, make them do their own work. In a way that for sure, in one stage of life when we get older, we have to leave our family. If we marry,
Yes.
if we want to choose our career
Yeah.
outside house or even hometown, if we want to declare our college major, we have to be independent. But unfortunately, some parents usually do everything instead of us and don't let us take responsibility of our own work and something that when we are left alone, we cannot do anything. Try to
Right.
practice it before this age.
I mean, at the time when you teach your kids, okay, when you get up, fold your own bed, blankets, and
Yes.
put it, arrange your own toys after you're done, like playing with the toys.
Yeah.
Put your dish in the washer,
Yes.
Try to clean it out, slowly teaching them, clean your stuff, clean your
Yes.
mess. So they would know, at least you're explaining it to them, how everything works, how to work with your remote, how to work with everything.
And I have heard and seen in some houses and among parents, if they see the room untidy, they think that this child will grow up untidy and they say you're always disorganized, shout, and they usually say you're just like your father or your brother. These, negative points that mentioned. The best solution, in my opinion, is if the room is untidy with her or his own toys, you might sit, play with them because they have to discover their toys. They have to play. There should be a place to play freely. Then after playing with them, say, so now it's time to collect them up and put everything in its own place. For the first stages, you have to be a model and a helper for them, beside them to do that, and next being independent, doing it without
Play with
any
them.
help.
Spend time with them. whether you're a father or a mother. For example, you get a new game,
Yeah.
something scrambled, and then
Yes.
you're unscrambling yourself,
Yes.
or you're getting something like blocks. You're making the blocks yourself and telling them how to make blocks.
Yeah.
So once you're playing with them and leave them to themselves, they're playing themselves. So spend time and then say, oh, now everything is done. Come on, clean up, clean up. Come
Yeah.
on. And then you get a chance, you clean. But the point that you said, if the parents' room is clean, when they get inside and says, okay, mom and dad is cleaning up everything,
Yeah.
giving an explanation, they do the same thing.
Exactly.
Exactly. So this is the point.
And one of the most important basics of essential life skill is managing time. As you've seen at schools, there are some slow doers. When we ask them, so is your homework done? They say, no, we need more time. Oh, my hands are, I cannot because my hands are painful or even, are killing me. They have not experienced managing time. We can instead buy and get a clock and set alarm for them to wake them up in the morning to get school on time and teach them punctuality, and even set some limited time for them to get their work done on time, in limited time. It's not required to put them under pressure or stress them out. By little, decrease that time and limit that time due to teach them how to manage their time.
Actually, the punctuality goes very well when we are working, when they're
Yes.
going to school. But during this time of Corona,
Yeah.
where everything is virtual,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
punctuality has gone. This is what I have observed. The waking up time in the mornings has gone. The summertime has arrived. So the summertime is like, people, appetite goes away, the time changes. It is like during the time of Ramadan, how
Yeah.
things goes messed up, like, timing.
Yes, you're
It is,
right.
even the Corona, where everything is virtual, especially for school kids and college kids. This is a very good point. Keep your punctuality. Wake up in the morning, no matter what. Go for a little exercises, whatever you're doing, and start your studies and sleep on time. Because I
Yeah.
think Corona has made people like kind of backed
Change,
out from the
yeah.
punctuality, right?
And also change their lifestyles
Yes.
more than often. And then decision-making skill. For sure, every one of us has to make some decisions in our lives, like declaring our college major, or even choosing our own partner. That probably that is our final decisions that we have to make, and without anyone's help. And for sure, we have to practice in advance, like try to give some options to your children. When they are buying clothes, you might show them 2 different colors for this cloth and say, which one do you think is better for you? If they want to buy games, you might show 2 different games and say, which one do you think is best for you and fits you well? They have to think about advantages and disadvantages of their decisions. Even consequences of their decisions should be considered.
Wow.
And then they might be good decision makers in the future for their own.
So basically, you're telling to the parents who decide everything for the kid,
Yes.
okay, this is the dress you have to wear in today's party. Yeah. Then it's like, yeah, or else you're not going to come to the party. Instead of that, just like, what kind of a dress do you want to wear? It's a party time, right? They
Yes.
will select their own choice. I want to wear this dress with this. Maybe it's not suitable according to the climate. You can say,
Yes.
it's summertime and this is very hot. You're going to be sweaty. The same way, when you're shopping outside with your kids for toys or anything, when they choose something, or maybe you don't have that money, you can say,
Yes.
Mama doesn't have that much money. If you want to really buy something that Mama wants you to buy, you can
Yeah.
choose from that area. And when they choose from that area, okay, you're selecting this. You can tell the
Yes.
advantages, but let them make the decision, because there are
Yeah, by
parents who says, no,
themselves.
whatever I choose, you have to do it. So you're making the person so dependent that it's going to be hard for that person in
Yeah.
future.
In the future,
Yeah.
that's the same. Managing money and budgeting.
Yes.
That is of those basic skills that
Yeah.
every one of us, especially when we want to pay for our family in the future.
Yeah.
And if we want to be a bread provider or bread bringer to our family, the best way is to set and give a certain amount of money to your child.
Pocket money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pocket money, and
Yeah.
say to her, this is just for your every week or every 2 weeks expenses. If they need it for more money, for more expensive stuff, you might say to them, save up your money to buy something you like. And for every and each chunk of money they saved up, you might add up pocket money or even lend them helping hand.
So
for
basically
buying
what
some-
you're saying is that give a little bit pocket money to them
Yes.
and teach them how to handle it, you know, for this kind of a situation,
Yeah.
that, and then save it up until the end of the month. You will teach them what to do it. So that was a very interesting topic. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after a short break. So we were talking about how to make your kid, youth, suitable for making decisions. So you said, sister, give them a little bit money, teach them how to handle it until whatever 1 week or 2 week or 1 month, and teach them, make them independent. So what's the next point?
And also how to make money.
Yes,
You
how
know,
to make
something-
money.
Yeah, how to
yes,
make
yeah.
money buying or selling something to you or to the other relatives. They sometimes have to make something by their own. I have a niece. She usually likes to make art and craft and some necklaces, handmade necklaces, and sell it to the other relatives.
Yes.
And also we sometimes teach them how to do comparative shopping. Like if we see two different clothes and they have the same quality, but one is cheaper and one is more expensive, we might ask and say to our children that if you buy the cheaper one, you might buy 2 other things beside. But if you want to buy an expensive one, just you might have one stuff here.
Very interesting, the idea that you gave, like let your kids do some artwork, whatever work they are doing in the house, right?
Yes.
And then you're looking at that to encourage the person you are as a parent buying from your kid.
Yeah.
And she's making money, of course, when the person grows up a little bit, not so small, because with the small, they don't care about the money, they tear
Yeah.
it, they just throw it. When they understand what is money, you can buy it from them and then spread it to your neighbors or their relatives, saying, look, this is the thing. Okay, now I would like to see how much saving are you doing on that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is.
with that money, if you want to buy that toy, you have to say this much money, then you can buy that toy. You can teach the kid the importance of money. That look
Yeah.
how much you have to work hard. Same way your dad and mom is doing the same thing, right? That's a very good point.
And they for sure won't waste money anymore when they
Exactly.
see they have to make it by their own.
Very,
Or
very
even
nice
save
points.
it up for themselves.
Exactly.
For buying their own favorite stuff. The next point is teach them how to shop. Take them to the grocery store with yourself to see how the categories of items are shelved. In a way that you might give them a basket and ask them to put something easy to find and put it in the basket, even sometimes teach them how to pay for it in front of you and under your supervision. They might pay for something or even keep them in charge of buying something like bread per month to see how to buy and how to shop.
Very nice point. So basically you are like training the mind of the kid, whatever you are doing, basically
Yes.
whatever you are doing in the house or outside,
Yeah.
you're explaining the kid. The kid is just not left out at the back. Or
Yeah.
you're not just giving them money, whatever they want, you're just buying, and that's okay. You're not doing that. You're explaining your situation and making that person young adult independent.
Yeah.
Very good point.
And another one involve them in simple cooking.
Wow.
We don't expect them cook when
Yeah.
especially they are younger because that might be a bit dangerous for them. But try to ask them to prepare some ingredients for you and even put some mixed or even a salad together or even squeeze lemon, something simple that might teach them how to cook and even sometimes keep the kitchen clean after doing their own, after eating is done or even after cooking is done. That might be of those important essential life skills, especially when we are university students and our parents are not around to cook. We can use those experiences and techniques that we've learned at house, how to cook or even how to prepare ingredients. And even if we make our own breakfast for school, we for sure eat it better than something prefabricated.
That's why during
From
some
it.
activities they tell you that try to make your own lunchbox.
Yes.
Make some sandwiches, make some and arranges, and let's see what kind of beautification you can do for your job. Playing like this around with your kids, especially in the kindergarten or this first grader, give them a choice, give them like an idea what exactly their parents are doing.
Yes.
So definitely when you're cooking, explain them, look, I'm cutting
Yeah.
onions and this is a very sharp knife.
Yes.
I cannot put my finger like this. It has to be like this. It has to be small. It has to be, if you're explaining everything like you're doing a cookery show, a cooking
Yeah.
show for your kid, the kid will get a great idea. And that time is the time where they grasp everything. Instead of just telling your kid, get out of the kitchen, make them sit and let them watch.
Yes.
Would be much better.
That
Wow.
would be much better. Importance of environmental preservation. Try to take them to the nature park and see how the plants and how the trees are planted. Try, if you have a yard in your garden, you might allocate one portion of that yard to her or him to plant and sow her own seed and water. Teach them gardening to see the value of a planet they are living in. And also help them to collect up the waste and put them in waste basket and keep the environment clean, because that for sure is really important. If you start from house, then the nature and the streets, then your children will learn to keep the place clean wherever she goes. At
Basically,
school.
when they go to the park and they don't have a garbage bag, you would say they have completed having the ice cream or like chips.
Yes.
Okay, hold on for a garbage. Look for garbage. If you see garbage, then put it inside the garbage. If there
Yes.
is no garbage, look for a plastic bag. But don't just throw it. If you threw it, okay, you threw was that your garbage, sweetheart? Pick it up. And
Yeah.
look for garbage, so, and then you're saying that help them to plant a tree in your own
Yeah.
garden so that they understand
And
why
also
am I
seeds,
Yeah.
sowing the seeds.
sowing the
to see-
seeds.
Yeah.
Why am I planting a seed, planting a tree? What is with seed? What is this water? Explaining them, it's like a project. So
Yeah.
basically you are talking to them. Sometimes the parents say this. I don't know how much of you are going to agree with this point when I say the point. She's or he's too young to learn all these things. The moment the person grows, the person has to do everything. So let the kid not do any kind of a work. Keep the kid away from that later. But what the information is saying right now, the professionalism is teaching everything so that they just observe to make a
Yes.
decision making. That's it, right?
That's it. And then finish task independently. As we told you before, if we ask them to make their own bed, start
Yeah.
from their own room, first we help them to do it. And for the next time, we expect them to do it independently when they have learned it well.
Yeah.
And for the next time, for sure, we can ask them to do some household chores. Like, so don't you think you might help me with dusting the tables, and even how to washing the dishes, as you said, or even how to take your own plate to the kitchen after your eating is done, how to pack up your school bag, how to pack your lunchbox. These are all the duties that can be done independently for the first stage by your help, and the next stages by their own.
Help them to do like laundry, how many clothes to put, how to divide the clothes,
Yeah.
all the process. You can explain it to them, but very nicely, not in a shouting way. Very nice, so that they would get an idea what exactly is happening in the house.
And one of the important and significant essential life skills that every one of us should be equipped with is interact with people. Interact with people, interacting even with people comes from house and parents. If they see you interacting with people friendly, you respect your parents, you respect elderly women and men, you respect the other people's ideas and perspectives. Child is a great imitator for that stage of life. And how to say hello, how to welcome guests to your house. These are all, and how to differentiate good strangers from bad strangers.
It's very important when you're talking about someone who comes to the house, how to talk to them. Because if you notice many youth, they just say hi or don't even say hi, they just walk inside. They are very cold, Even when they are youth, the guests who are coming inside the house, they don't like it. The moment they say it in their mind, what kind of a youth they are, don't even say hi.
Yes.
And everything goes on your parents. Because they would point on the parents, the parents are supposed to teach you.
And also they usually say, why aren't these children
Communicating.
polite?
Yeah, unpolite,
think, yeah.
and they are not like interacting with you. What's wrong, So it is not a good image. Definitely, I've experienced that also myself. So teach your kid how to say hi, come and sit with the guest, say hi, hello a little bit. Then if you want to walk out, walk out. But if you see a guest has another kid, try to interact with the other kid and take the kid and play with the kid. Or else it's going to be really very impolite. Few people keep saying the same thing. Oh, I'm an introvert. Because I'm an introvert, I don't do that. But that's not really the answer.
And also usually, we have two different kinds of, as you said, children, introvert and extrovert, or some shy or some talkative ones that like to interrupt the adult conversations and
All the
discussions and interfere in every and each things without permission.
Yeah.
We can teach them little by little without shouting or blaming.
Yeah.
Because they are in the process of learning things.
I mean, this just doesn't goes with you, that even goes with adults. Especially
Yes.
when you are in a public gathering or you're in a, for example, in a gathering where many guests are there and two people are standing and talking to each other, third person jumps over there and start talking, and within your house you say how rude that person is, but you don't say anything. It was like, so the person has to realize when two people are talking, leave them alone, and if you're listening, don't jump. Be a little polite.
Yeah, and also even your children are paying attention if the guest goes out to backbite or even being jealous of them.
Exactly.
They are paying attention.
Every
even
detail,
cursing and swearing at the others.
Yeah.
And we also say, why our children just like to swear at the others or just shout or scream? They have learned from somebody.
Yes, because what happens is this is a very good point. Very good point. You says the moment the guest goes out, the woman or the man out there has started to backbiting. They speak negative, immediately make fun or negatively, and the kids will do the same thing, because when the little kids saying something, these are not their words, it's the words of their mothers or their fathers. Don't backbite in front of them. Don't make fun in front of them. Teach them not to backbite if you don't backbite. So this little manners. This is very important points that we are talking. This is how we can upbring a youth, and make them, a better person in their life.
Yeah, that think positively toward everyone, and then interacting with the others might be of those social skills that everyone should know. The next is basic menus and how to order at the restaurant. Even to take them to the restaurant and show them how to choose the table, how to sit, how to tip the waiters, and even how to take fork and even knife. We have some students at the school that don't even know how to take fork and knife, or how to even take spoon to eat neatly. For sure, you know why? Because parents say no, try not to do that because you always make it untidy and make mess. Let me do it for you. But try to practice them at home and let them make it untidy and then clean it up themselves.
Yeah.
And after practicing it, they might act well at school and at the restaurants or any other places with a great discipline.
Exactly. That's a good point, because when you're going to restaurants, sometimes you're embarrassed because of your kid. And then you're saying you don't have to be embarrassed because they're just kids.
Yeah.
But that training can be done in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can take them to the restaurant, and then you can say how neat is your kid, how disciplined is your kid. That's true.
And then how to use maps and GPS
Oh,
for
wow.
the young. You know,
yeah.
sometimes, yes, take map and try to even take a walk or go to school and then get back home by using and reading maps to let her know how to use the directions and instructions. Sometimes probably you're not around and you cannot drop them or even you cannot pick them up from a school. They have to know how to find their own ways if they are lost. So showing them map and how to read and use maps or GPS, or even how to call you to get them back from school or even from home to school.
That's right. So that's very nice that sometimes if something happens, they just know how to come back home. Wow, that's a very good point.
And then washing their own clothes. If they not that much too young, but
Yeah.
when they get a bit older,
Yeah.
to get familiar with washing machine, how to put clothes, how to add detergent and dry the clothes, and especially ironing for themselves because they need it for their own workplace, for their own school, and parents cannot do it. They are busy doing their own jobs and work, and they might not be that much free to do everything for their child and children. It's our duties to do that.
Very nice.
And the next is basics of traveling, like if sometimes, as we told before, reading the maps and finding the directions and instructions for you, even just by some applications, if you want to get somewhere and finding somewhere, other cities, other countries, ask them for help doing that. And here buying tickets for the metro, subways, and also bus stations, how to take taxi. If they have to take taxis to their own school and to home, which ways lead to their home and school. They have to see which ways lead and which ways do not lead to their house or schools.
Yeah.
They have to get to know
When they
them.
analyze a little bit, try to teach them all the areas in the street,
Yes.
and so that if something happens, you never know, and then you would know how to come back home.
How to come back home.
Exactly. This is what happened with my brother. He was in school, maybe a mid-school or elementary school. He just missed out his service. So,
Yes.
and he did not have a cell phone or a money to make a phone call or anything. He don't know the number. So he walked home. It was a long walk, but he was like, "Did you know the way?" He was like, "Yes, I always observed the way." And it was like he walked home like twice and thrice. So it was very important for him to know the numbers so that you can make a phone call, we can come and pick you up. But he walked home safely. It did happen. That's true.
And then looking at situation from others' perspectives. Imagine that if your child comes home and says, "My friend just hit me," or even "she always bothers me," instead of supporting her or even blaming or criticizing her. No, that was your friend's right, she's right, you're always stubborn, I know you, or even instead of supporting her, how did she dare to do like this with you? Try to listen up carefully without any judgment, and even say, do you know why does your friend get angry or upset with you? Try to survey different angles and perspectives. After that, she put herself in other people's shoes and calm down.
Yes, sometimes what happens is that you're just taking her side. Just because you're a parent, you're being a selfish parent, siding your own kid and not siding the other kid. Or you're just being selfish with your own kid. You know, you're just like, the person always fight, doesn't want to listen. That's the reason person doesn't come to you, the kid doesn't come to you anymore.
Yeah.
So try to survey so that the person realizes herself or himself, the person is right or wrong.
Yeah, and also understand the other people's feelings.
Yeah.
To be fair and just from that moment. Another in adaptability and resilience. You know, try to show your child that not always everything that she says should be done. Sometimes we think because we have said, okay, yes, I will buy, I will do for you. Child goes to school and think that teachers, school staff, and even other students should listen up to her.
Wow, that was very good point that you gave, sisters. So this is all time we have right now. I would like to thank you for being part of this program. Thank you very much, sister.
That was my pleasure to be here with you and the audience. Hope it would be beneficial and fruitful for you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Stay tuned for another exciting topic. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.